Hello, I'm Dustin Wunderlich, Communications Director for the University of Washington College of Education, and I'm here with Professor Jessica Rigby, who recently received the Early Career Award from AERA Division A.
Hi.
So, Jessica, could you tell us a little bit about the research that you're sharing at AERA this year?
Yeah, I'm sharing work that I did as part of a research practice partnership, and the paper was co-written with Stephanie Foreman and Allison Fox, who both are recent graduates, and Elham Kazmi. So the four of us wrote this work together, and it was analyzing we have a couple different districts in our research practice partnership, and it was analyzing the work that we did with just one, and around the leadership development. So at first, we were looking at the development of the district leaders who were part of our research practice partnership, and then realized really quickly that the unit was really the design team that we were a part of. Mm-hmm. So as the leadership team, the leadership development was about the team's learning, including ours. And so we traced a couple of different ideas over the course of a year and a half in our meetings, particularly the development of a practical measure and how we talked about ideas in mathematics, because the work was focused on improving elementary mathematics.
And what were a couple key findings from the work that you've done?
Yeah. So one of the big ahas, which isn't necessarily a finding in the paper, but was that the practical measure that we would have designed, absent our partnership, is really different than the measure that was actually designed with the practice partnership, with the design team. So the ideas that we had theoretically, based on our experience and based on our research, didn't match up with what the ideas of the folks who were in this particular context, what they needed to work on in order to improve. In the end, we call our measure our impractical measure because it really is impractical, but it really helped us learn about the system in the way that the district needed in order to move forward and improve on math instruction. So that's one big lesson is the potential, what it could be seen as a mismatch, right, between like what we imagined this practical measure could look like and what it could do and what information it could get us, and then what the district actually needed, and how those two merged, I think over time could lead towards actually a practical measure, but started off in this really impractical way that helped us learn about the system. So that's one big finding. The second big finding was also about really uncovering the process of how folks in district leadership positions learn. What are the opportunities for them to learn? And really, there are not many. And so this was a really unique opportunity for both us to learn about the system and then also for them to learn about how to improve math instruction. And it was a really nice blending of our various expertise and how they came together to improve math.
So what are maybe a couple insights that you would have for other researchers or district leaders who are engaged in research practice partnership work?
I think the first is about patience. The work is really slow, and we know that. We know that about education reform. We know that about school change. These are things that are not surprising. But when you're working with district leaders or anyone in your research practice partnership, they have their whole daily work already, and hopefully what you're doing is part of their daily work, but things move slowly. They move slowly through large systems. So I think the patience was really important. I think the second big learning we had was about who was at the table, and we didn't have enough people and enough of the right people at the table, and we ran into some roadblocks that we weren't expecting because of that. So that also gets back to the time. Part of it is because we just wanted to get going. All of us, the district folks, us, were like, we need to improve math instruction now. And so we, plowed ahead within our the zones in which we had, the realm of our control, domain of our control. I can't remember how we call that. And because we did that, we were effective in this particular domain. But we needed to be effective in other domains, and we needed people at the table who were part of those domains that weren't at our table. So there's some press for let's get stuff done, and timing of grants, and there are other practical considerations. But then there's also the piece of really, in order to do this work deeply and well across an entire system, who needs to be there and how do you build a relationship in order to get them there?
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time today.